Hello and welcome to Portobello Baptist Church. Every year we take part in Doors Open Day, but this year obviously we're not able to do so. So here's a video looking at our environment and the building and its history and its significant part in the life of Portobello. This is an old picture of Portobello, the High Street, and that's where we're located. This is more like what it looks like now. As we go through this video, we will have a look at different scenes from old photographs and from new photographs, and we'll be able to compare what was then and what is now. If you were walking along Portobello High Street in the past, you'd have seen this building, which was obviously a church. It's not a church now. And also when you see Portobello Baptist Church now, it does not look like what people's view is of a conventional church. Indeed, the building blends into the high street, almost like one of the tenements or one of the shops. You'll notice in this picture, in the top right, there is a clock, which is no longer in the bottom left. More of that later. Transport, what people wore, the roads, were all different then and now. And indeed, Forsyth's Confectionery is now the popular Greggs shop for buying sandwiches. Looking at old pictures gives you a very clear idea that Portobello has changed significantly, no more than in this image. But the police station is still there. It actually became the second town hall in Portobello after the Baptist Church had been the town hall. There is now a third town hall, although it is going through difficulties as far as staying open is concerned because of the need for repairs and maintenance. At this junction, you will see that a two-storey building in past times has now become a four-storey building. The transport, of course, is totally different as well. Where the Baptist Church is today in Portobello was a very important location for Portobello's history. The first dwelling was built by a George Hamilton who came back from Panama, where he had fought battles at Portobello. And he built this house having bought the land in what was called the Figget Whins. There's still evidence of the Figget name, the Figget Burn, and roads named after Figget. But he built this house and made it into the Shepherd's Ha, which was a hostelry, and he did leather repair work. Fishwives and the stagecoaches passed and gave him customers. This all took place shortly after the 1745 Jacobite Rebellion. However, by 1863 the building was derelict and it was knocked down to build Portobello's first town hall. You can see the location of an old outside toilet, which was for the mayor and town hall dignitaries to use, rather than the basement toilet in the Dunny. After this, the building was used for concerts and dances until 1909. However, all this time in the basement of the building, there are two large areas. There's the outside toilet that the dignitaries did not wish to use. And in the basement still, there are cells. This was where the police sergeant would lock up people who'd been misbehaving in Portobello over the weekend until the courts opened on Friday. By 1910, the building was transformed into a black and white cinema, the Star Cinema. People knew it as the Star Hall for many years afterwards. By 1913, there were colour films being shown with sound. The ticket booth is still in place at the top of the stairs. Outside is an interesting building with its own story, a very unusual and unexpected story. During the First World War, munitions were being built at a place called Timbertown near Gretna Green. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle had visited the place and seen the cordite being stirred and called it the Devil's Porridge. In 1924, the buildings were dismantled and one was brought up to Portobello and became our church hall. In 1919, the church started using the building, but in 1920, they bought the building. So this is our centenary season for the building being Portobello Baptist Church. We meet in the building weekly for various events on Sundays and also during the week, but we also have events out and about. Here was a bonfire down at the beach one Christmas when 350 folks met together to sing carols. Our children's space on the top floor is used by our, what people would call Sunday school. We call it kids' time. This is the youngest room for primary age children, but we also have children of secondary age who meet during the morning service, having been in for the start of the service for a few songs. The children learn to develop their spirituality as well as learning Bible stories and discussing their lives, what it's like at school, things that are happening at home, in order to help the children to shape how they live their lives for the years ahead. Some people think of children as the future of the church. Well, actually, we see them very much as part of the church for today, as much as the other adults and young people that are in the church. In addition to the adults meeting for church services and our children, the building is also used during the week by our community, particularly the hall. Here are images from the Portobello Old People's Project, who meet twice a week in our hall. However, we also have a Pilates group, another old folks group, a choir, and a martial arts group that meet in the building. This is what the building looks like from outside now. It's been a huge change from the original Portobello house. It then became the town hall. It then became an entertainment hall, a cinema, and of course, Portobello Baptist Church now. The building continues to change, and we plan to change our balcony into what we're calling a heritage balcony to give visitors an idea of the history of the church. Remember that clock that we showed a while ago? It's not there now. However, it's down in Derby being reconditioned, and the plan is to replace it where it used to be on the front of the building, so that once again people going down Portobello High Street will be able to see if they're late for school or what the time is to meet up with their friends. Here's a profile of the side of the building, showing the meeting space, the cafe, and the kids' space, and the clock. And the idea is the clock will be replaced. When the clock is reinstated, it will look something like this. We're very grateful to you for visiting us virtually at this strange time. However, it's fair to say there are other changes that are happening in the building. We discovered dry rot and had an ingress of water which damaged the main meeting space and our cafe. Changes had to be made, and we're taking the opportunity to take out these wonderful old cinema seats, to re-floor the main meeting room with carpets, to put in stackable chairs to ensure that we're able to be church in a post-COVID era, and so the building continues to change. If you would like to visit us on our website, here is the address. We look forward to seeing you sometime. Thank you for visiting.